Good morning, Aquarius. This is your Mercury retrograde. What does Spirit want you to focus on or refocus on during Mercury retrograde? Whenever Mercury goes retrograde, all of the things that Mercury governs kinds of goes to sleep with Mercury, with the planet Mercury, as above, so below. So communications kind of get messed up and different things like that. I'm going to have an article underneath this so it can tell you really in more detail what's happening. But because we are a community of people who look for signs and things like that, I think it's important for us to understand that, sometimes things just happen. It has nothing to do with, oh, it's a sign, oh, this isn't, God doesn't want me doing this, or whatever we think whenever something, it doesn't work out the way we planned. So sometimes it's just because of the energies in the galaxy, right? Because whenever the as above, so below. So there are some possibilities that are going to take place in the next few weeks whenever Mercury goes retrograde on October 30th. So we're going to ask Spirit, what energies do you need to focus on in health and wellness, your personal health and wellness, family and friends, career and money, and then love, like love relationships. So God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, show us what energies Aquarius should focus on as we walk through the retrograde. Thank you for allowing us to understand that with every cause there's an effect, and that Mercury going into retrograde will be causing some effects. Thank you for clear and concise messages. Thank you for love, light, and prosperity. And thank you for confirmation, clarification, and validation as we walk through the energies that you would have us revisit in relation to health and wellness, family and friends, career and finance, and love. Okay, health and wellness. Rejoice and celebration. Okay, family and friends, we have the shadow. And in career and money, we have emotional loss. And then in love, we have light. Okay, so now we're going to get clarification on these energies and see exactly what is it about each energy in each particular category specifically that we need to pay attention to. And I'll pull 3 clarifiers under each category. Okay, God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, thank you so much for the messages that you're giving us. Thank you for the guidance that you give us as we walk through the energies of the Mercury retrograde. I ask you for clarification. In health and wellness, we got rejoice and celebration. In family and friends, we got shadow. And in career and finance, we got emotional loss. And in love, we got light. So we thank you for these energies, and now we thank you for the clarification, clarifying for us what is it about each energy that we need to understand. Okay, so with health and wellness, we're getting the 10 of water. We're getting the Chariot. And we're getting the 8 of water. Okay. In family and friends, we're getting the 4 of air. We're getting the Hanged Man. And we're getting the 6 of fire. In career and finance, we're getting the King of Fire, the 5 of fire, and the Page of Air. And in love, romantic love, we're getting the 3 of earth, a Tower, and the Sun. We're getting the Sun, clarifying the Sun. Okay. So we're going to start in health and wellness. Health and wellness has to do with not just physical health, but it's mind, body, and spirit. So it's all of them. And it says rejoice in celebration. So I feel like you're pretty healthy, you're pretty stable minded emotionally and physically and spiritually. You seem to be pretty good. So if you're feeling a little bit wonky, it's wanting you to rejoice in revisiting meditation. Possibly the 10 of water is the same as the 10 of cups. So either you're needing to revisit your times of meditation and stuff like that, or they're wanting you to rejoice about the 10 of cups, about the joy in your life, the things in your life that do fill your cups up. They want you to refocus your energies on those things. And I understand why this is so important, because whenever, we can say affirmations and things like that all day long, but it's our feelings, it's our emotions that actually move energy. So whenever we allow ourselves to rejoice in the things that actually fill us up, it moves our energy, and it actually causes our bodies to be in homeostasis. It causes our physical body to be in homeostasis, which allows us to think clearer. So rejoice in those things that do fill your cup up. You've got the Chariot. So I feel like you're moving forward. You've already started moving forward, possibly with different practices for your health and your self-care. And I feel like they're wanting you to continue to do that, or if you started it and you stopped, to revisit whatever practices you had put in place for yourself and possibly just didn't keep up with for whatever reason. Then you have the 8 of water. And the 8 of water is the same as the 8 of cups, and it's about moving on. It's about leaving behind the things that don't serve you anymore. So I feel like it's whenever this is saying rejoice in the things that do fill you up, and this is saying move on from the things that don't fill you up, and this is saying move or revisit whatever practices you might have put in place for yourself in a physical nature, okay? So these are specialized readings. They're not any kind of like standard reading or anything. We've got some specialized questions that we're asking, and I know, God, that whenever we ask questions, they answer. So the cards might not have the exact same meaning as they would like in a love reading or anything like that, but that's because this isn't a love reading. And when we get to love, that might be a little bit different. So with family and friends, we have the shadow, okay? So the shadow, this is an oracle deck. It's the same as the moon card if you're looking at the tarot deck. So what does the moon tell us? The moon tells us there's some things that we might not know that are going on, right? There might be some things that we're actually hiding from people that we love, or possibly from ourselves, or from some of our real good friends. I feel like they're wanting you to take another look at some of the things that you have accomplished and laid to rest in your life, some of the accomplishments that you have made in your relationships with family and friends. Relationships, anything with an RE is really a good thing to pay attention to during the retrograde. So pay attention to something that you've already overcome. The 4 of Swords, the 4 of Air is the same as the 4 of Swords, right? So the 4 of Swords is whenever there's one sword laid underneath the bed and the man's laying on top. So he's in peace. He's at peace with overcoming whatever that truth obstacle was. So perhaps you need to go revisit that particular idea, whatever it was that you feel like you've overcome recently. Go back and revisit that. Reassess how it made you feel, maybe to give you courage to release something else that you need to release that's keeping a wall up between you and your family and friends. I have the Hanged Man here, okay? So the Hanged Man, Aquarius, is saying the same thing. Look at things from a different perspective. You've already accomplished this once, right? Where you were able to do some inner work or do some work with somebody in your family, the emotional work with somebody in your family, where you were able to come out and say, okay, this is how this makes me feel, and blah, blah, blah. So even though communications are not so much necessarily favored, you can't just shut up, right? But maybe it's time to revisit an old conversation or revisit an old issue in conversation with somebody close to you, even if it's with yourself. Because see, these two guys, here's a pope and a pope, religious leaders, and they're looking at each other, right? It's like they're mirroring it. Here's his shadow side, here's his light side. I feel like there's something inside you that's keeping you from being in full communion with your relationships in your family and friends. So a lot of times whenever there's something going on and relationships get strained, we look at the other person and what are they doing wrong? What have they got going on that's causing this relationship? Whether it's your siblings, a real good friend, or whatever. What is it they've got on that's not allowing me to feel free within this relationship? Well, maybe it's not them at all. Maybe it's you, and that's why this card is showing up. Then celebrate. So this is the Six of Fire, which is the same as the Six of Wands, and it's a card of celebration. It's a card of realizing your accomplishments. There's all those rods, and the one that person's carrying in that particular card in the tarot has a wreath on it. So they are being honored for their victorious accomplishments, right? So, and this card says the same thing. And this is the wands are fire is always about passion for me. It's about inspired action, and it's about inspired messages, our communications with spirit. In this particular deck, there's all these other hot air balloons out there, but this one hot air balloon is carrying his own ship that came in, right? He's carrying his own ship. So what this is telling me, again, is that whatever strained relationships you have, they're asking you to, look at it from a different perspective. What is possibly your responsibility in the strained relationship? Is it possible that you have something that you're not working on or not being able to overcome? Another thing that I want to say in relationship to this is that, everybody that comes into our life is a reflection of something that we've got going on in our life, right? So if somebody's giving us a hard time, or we don't feel like we can have a real open relationship with them, it's because they represent something within us that we're not dealing with, or an old wound that we've never, either a behavior that we don't like about ourselves, or an old wound that we've never healed. There's like 7 different layers of kinds of mirrors. Perhaps I'll be able to find something and put that in the comments for you also. But yeah, so this is telling you to reflect on you. Reflect on your own personal self within these relationships. Reflect on that same, you've been here before, is what I'm saying. So go back and do some more reflection on yourself and see, what is it about you that's causing this relationship to be strained or feel like it's just not real open. Okay, so in career and finance, we've got emotional loss. So I feel like you have either recently left a job, or perhaps you just got laid off or something like that. Or perhaps you just took a new job that's not what you thought it was going to be, or you started a business that's not what you thought it was going to be, okay? So this is asking you, it's the King of Fire. So what is the King of Fire? He's the king that leads with his heart. You see how his heart is exposed? And he uses his wisdom and his connection with his higher power to move him forward in these decisions that he makes. He takes inspired action, right? So sometimes whenever we get into a situation, like if we start something new and things aren't working out the way, or we get so busy we lose our passion. A lot of times they say don't do what you love to make money, because then it becomes a job and you're not going to love it anymore, right? So this right here is basically saying revisit the reasons that you took that job. Maybe revisit the reasons that you started that business. Reconnect with the passion, okay? If you've lost your job, revisit the things that you were thinking about before you lost the job. Were you aggravated, saying, man, I wish I had a job that paid me better, or man, I wish I had a job that, whatever, those, if there were any negative thoughts, man, I wish I got recognized for the things that I do. Because a lot of times we bring those things on ourselves, even though we don't consciously do it, we forget how our words and our emotions move energy. We don't ever have to say to our boss anything negative. The energy that we move with our emotions causes those things to happen naturally. It's just cause and effect, okay? So you're also getting the 5 of fire. Now I feel like the 5 of fire is basically saying, again, the same thing as this. Stay connected with your passion. Get back in touch with your guides, with your angels, with your prayer life, however it is that you communicate, not in repentance or anything like that, but for guidance, for the next step, for all those things. In the traditional tarot, this is the 5 of Wands, which is about conflict and competition, right? But this person is not feeling conflicted or competitive. She's very much in tune with what's going on here. So I feel like it's almost like reiterating this. Whenever you decided to do this, whatever it was, and I'm kind of walking away from the if you lost your job. This is a whole different scenario. If you got a new job, or if you have started a business and you're just not feeling like it's doing everything that you want it to do, revisit what caused you to start in the first place. Revisit the reason that you decided to do what you did, and go back to that wisdom that you received at that time, and and then go back to that connection and allow Source to reinvest that passion in you. Because like I said, sometimes we get caught up in the day-to-day stuff and we forget why we're there. We forget why we did what we did. And then you've got the Page of Air. So I feel like the Page of Air is, for me, the messenger of truth, right? The messenger of pure communication. So again, this is saying that I feel like you've gotten so caught up in what it's going to take to get this going, get it off the ground, all that other stuff, that you're feeling like you made a mistake. Just like I was saying earlier, like, oh no, it's a sign. I shouldn't have done this. Oh no, it's a sign. I need to change something. Whatever it is, I feel like the only thing they're asking you to do is reconnect with that passion within yourself that caused you to go here in the first place, and realize the truth of, the Mercury retrograde, that, computers break down. Whatever is happening in this situation that's causing you to feel like you might have made a wrong decision, and it's an emotional loss. It's the 5 of Cups. It's like it's not working out the way you want it to, and you keep focusing on things that aren't working out, and you're thinking in your mind, oh my God, this is a sign, I shouldn't have done this. No, not at this time. I believe in signs too. I trust signs. But during Mercury retrograde, if it's things that are happening in your experience that could be related to Mercury retrograde, then don't be so quick to say, oh my God, this is a sign I made the wrong decision. Reconnect with the wisdom that started you there. Reconnect with your guides, whoever it is, your prayer life, however it is that you communicate, and reconnect with your truth. The truth of why you started this and the truth of what's actually going on right now. Okay? So now we're going to talk about love relationships, and you're getting light, which is the same as the sun. This is the most incredible card in the whole tarot deck to have, and this is an oracle card, but still the same weight. It holds the same weight. It's about laughter, not laughter. Well, I guess laughter too. Whenever you have joy, sometimes you have laughter. It's about joy, victory, the warmth of feeling like the universe is smiling on you, all those things. And you're getting the Three of Pentacles, okay? So with the Three of Pentacles, I feel like this is a very passionate relationship, and it started out that way. It's a very passionate relationship, something that y'all both came together. You were both in the same place, and you both we're excited about moving forward in life and with life, right? Together. And then along comes some kind of tower. I don't know what that tower is. It's a 1 and a 6. It's a 7. Whatever it was a divine something to draw you back closer together. Perhaps somebody got a little bit misguided in the relationship. Somebody veered off a little bit and didn't. Whatever this tower is, right? It interrupted this communal collaboration that you had together within the relationship itself. So some kind of tower moment came in. It could be something as simple as one of you getting so involved in your work that you don't have time for the other one. It can be something as simple as whatever this is that you're hiding from other people, even yourself. It could be affecting this relationship. It could be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be a third person. I don't feel like this is representative of a third person. I feel like this is representative of a successful union, a successful collaboration. And then in comes this tower. So they're wanting you to revisit the early days. Revisit the time. Revisit what made you fall in love in the first place. Revisit. And that's if you're in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, revisit the idea of being in a relationship. Revisit this tower. Kind of do the same thing as they're asking you here. Revisit this tower and figure out, did you have any part in it that you're, the reason that you're not in a relationship right now. But I feel like this is speaking to somebody in a relationship, and it wants you to revisit the beginning. Go back to the beginning of this relationship and remember why you fell in love in the first place. Go on dates again. Make time for each other again. Mercury retrograde is the perfect time to do that kind of stuff because things just kind of slow down, because communication gets screwed up, because computers break down. So it's almost like the divine himself is slowing things down, backing things up so that we can take a break. You can't take you can take vacation if you have vacation. You can't just stop working. You still have to go to work. But like if you're in sales, revisit old clients. Don't try to start any new projects. Revisit old clients. Revisit old projects and things like that. Okay, whenever I did like that, they were saying, and if you're single. So if you're single, it's not time to start a new relationship. Revisit old relationships, possibly, for closure, for purposes of closure, or for the purpose of rekindling something with somebody. That's a good time to do that. But it's not a good time to start a brand new relationship. Brand new relationships started during Mercury retrograde, according to this article that's going to be in the description, they don't ever work out the way we planned or the way that we thought that they would. So that is your energies. Those are your energies and your areas of focus for Mercury retrograde. We're going to get a PS. But yeah, there will be an article in the description for you to look at and see, exactly why this reading is important for you. Okay. God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, thank you so much for Aquarius. Thank you for helping us understand the energies that they'll be dealing with. Thank you for your message, period. And we thank you for the PS. We thank you for love, light, and prosperity, clear and concise messages, and we thank you for clarification, confirmation, and validation. Okay, show us the PS for Aquarius. Be patient. Yeah, an Aquarius, being patient, right? Be patient. This is your Temperance card. This time, it's a time to be able to focus on things that we wouldn't normally take time to focus on, right? So, but you're going to have a little bit of extra time on your hands during these next retrograde. Actually, the effects of it can start as much as 2 weeks earlier. So from now, the 20th or so, until, well, today's not the 20th, today's 16th, but about this time through November 20th, things are going to be a little wonky. Anything that Mercury governs is going to be a little bit wonky. So be patient, right? Keep yourself grounded here in the physical 3D world and in your spiritual world, in your spiritual practices. Keep yourself grounded and know that whenever things slow down, it's a time to heal. It's a time for alchemy to take place. We get so busy in our day-to-day lives that we forget to stay in touch with our spiritual practices. We get so busy trying to figure things out that we forget that it's not us anyway. I mean, we're just doing our part, but there's a process where the universe, God, the angels, the archangels, they have a part to do also. So this is about that, about being patient. Look, there's that celebration card again. Celebrate. Find reasons to celebrate during Mercury retrograde. Find reasons to laugh. Find reasons to get together. Have reunions with old classmates, with family members that you hadn't seen in a long time. Get together, celebrate. I'm telling you, laughter is, y'all have heard this, laughter's the best medicine, right? Whenever we can have ourselves in a state of homeostasis, it's amazing how beneficial it is to our physical body, how nurturing it is to our physical body whenever we can be at peace and in a state of joy or rejoicing and compassion and love and all those kinds of things. So let that be your focus. Let that be one of your focuses. And put the burdens down, okay? If you have during this time old things that crop up that you have to revisit, right? Revisit them, then release them and put them down and move on, right? That was part of your card also under health and wellness is move on from those things that no longer serve you. Leave those behind. They might have been good for you at one time in your life, but there's something that it's time for you to reconsider and possibly walk away from. Okay, Aquarius, that is your Mercury retrograde reading, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's been beneficial to you. Make sure you check out the article in the description so that you can have more information about, because I know I didn't explain it well, but you can have more information about exactly what goes on during Mercury retrograde. Okay, and it's not to scare you, just so you know, it's not to scare you. But again, it's to keep us from making a misstep. It's to keep us from thinking, oh man, my computer keeps, every other day my computer's breaking down. This is a sign. I need to go back to my old job. No, it's likely Mercury retrograde. Okay, so anyway, thank you so much for stopping in. Have a super duper day. Bye.